a guy. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty. He's quite the guy. If you're feeling lonely, come and make a friend. If you need a story, on Sty you can depend. His voice is soothing like a lullaby. Sometimes he brings a tear to my eye. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty. He's quite the guy.
Well, welcome everybody to another Sty Story Sunday. Hey, yeah. Boy, we kick out the stories around here, don't we? yeah. You can always count on it on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. We'll have a story for you. As long I don't think I'm going to run out of them, but I might run out of time. I turned 65 a couple days ago, and boy, the clock's ticking, so I better get them stories out, right? Yeah. So I'm going to give a shout real quick to the folks out there in the chat. There's not a lot out in the chat tonight, but we've got some that are definitely notable. Justin Anderson jumped in right away. He says he's a couple days late and $1 short, but happy birthday. Hey, it's never too late to say happy birthday as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, it was a happy one because I got beyond it. Yeah. I'm 65 now, and guess what? I'm alive and kicking. I'm feeling pretty doggone good right now too. You feel this good, things must be good. Yeah. Then we got Samantha Lee's Originals. Yeah, she's the one that did my intro song. You betcha. You get over and you check her out. She's the best. And guess what? She's in the basement. I'm not going to keep her down there very long. Native Kutza. Hey, love you, girl. There's my sweetheart. There's Tim with Kirk Weber Voyager Center, just like clockwork. Ben Kroll, good to see you. Good morning. Me Dibble, hello. Freeman James, hi, brother. Good to see you, man. It's so good to see you. All great folks. Ben's asking if the deer are dropping their antlers here yet. I don't know. They should be shedding by now. They get close to shedding right around now. If they haven't started shedding, they'll be shedding here in the next couple of weeks or so and start shedding throughout the month of the last half of February and the month of March. Some of them will carry into April, but rare. Yeah, it's that time of year. Well, I'm not going to wait. I don't get to see this girl often enough, so I'm bringing her up here with me. There she is. Oh, Samantha. Yeah, you're muted.
Howdy.
Yeah,
I did see that. I was like, oh, fuck, I got my mic off, damn it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's life's been kind of weird for me, and now it's like the whole world with all the virus and stuff. It's say, well, here's the new norm and all this and that. Well, for me in my life, I've got a new norm. My whole diet has changed. I don't get to eat the things I love like I used to, and I've plateaued at 160 pounds. I'm 160 pounds. I've stayed there now for almost 2 months. So that's the new me. I'm 160 pounds. I guess won't gain or lose. I've been trying to gain. I've been eating. I was telling Samantha earlier the night before my birthday, I went hog wild and I ate like a pig and everything I wasn't supposed to. I ate 6 ice cream cones, the drumsticks. I ate 6 of those. Yeah. And I told her, I said, all of a sudden I realized this is my last meal. All that bad food I ate was my last meal. Last meal at being 64 years old. So, yeah. So,
You like that sweatshirt?
the me devil needs a deer antler for the dog to chew on. Yeah. When I lived out in Montana, I had people just freak out. They come up to our place out in the backcountry, and my dogs be sitting there chewing on a big old elk antler, that they get drug into camp. And they're going, don't let the dogs chew up an elk antler. I said, why not? There's hundreds and hundreds of them laying out here. I said, but the thing is if you don't find them early in the season, you're not going to find them. All the critters out there chew on them. Coyotes chew on them. Timberwolves chew on them. And what's left? The mice. All the rodents chew them up. They don't. Once in a while, you'll find an old pear that's all bleached. But the critters like your antlers. Is Spicy coming on tonight?
I'm asking.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I'm asking everybody.
Oh, I see what you just asked. Thank you, sweetheart. That's nice. Yeah, are any of you coming up? I would not be surprised if Phil does show up because
probably will.
he's not into the Super Bowl either. He's going to kind of watch highlights, I guess, and like he's not concentrating on where it's everything else is out of the picture. I'm just the game. I haven't done that in years. I just I feel bad that I've gotten away from the whole Super Bowl spirit, but if I didn't have a channel, I'd be doing the Super Bowl tonight just so I could sit and eat nachos.
My favorite part was the gatherings back in the day. Dad and all of his friends and uncles and stuff, and everybody come over for Super Bowl Sunday. It's just not like that anymore,
No, it used to be entertaining when you get everybody together for Super Bowl Sunday, and you had all kinds of food, and everybody's sitting around drinking beer and eating anything and everything and laughing, and you had the occasional opposing fan. Got to start a fight in the middle of the village, and the rest of the village is standing around going. Half of the village is saying, "Oh, that's terrible. They do that every time," and because it's the same old, and the other half is laughing their butts off, going, "There they go, there they go." It's like
just wouldn't be the same without it.
No. Well, and that was one of the topics that's in the Sty Times list that you gave me, and that's friends and family, the family shenanigans. That's what it was. Yep. And how family can get. I mean, and what family will do to start shit. I mean,
oh God.
You could sit in a family gathering, and if you choose just to sit back and watch, you can actually tag who's going to start what. You know who's going to say the wrong thing and about when they're going to do it. And it's so funny because it's written all over them.
Yeah. My sister's husband's like a total jokester. And we they threw that dinner for me yesterday. So we're all standing up in a circle and my sister makes us join hands and bow in prayer. We have to do it every time at her house. Well, so we're saying the prayer and all of a sudden my sister's husband starts tickling the inside of my hand with his finger. And I fucking started laughing. I was like, stop. And I like nudge him and I'm like, knock it off. I squeeze his hand. I'm like, stop it. So he does it again. And I couldn't hold it in. I just start laughing. And my oldest sister's looking at me like, how freaking dare you?
Oh, yeah. Sacrilege.
During the family prayer. And my other sister, his wife is on the other side of him. She just hauls off and smacks him because she already knows it's his fault.
Oh, yeah. So, it's got to be him.
Yeah, it was just funny. But yeah, I couldn't hold it in.
I love it.
Yeah, he always does that stupid stuff. Yeah.
Actually, so when I pull that topic, when it gets pulled, because I use a random generator that pulls my topics for that show, when that topic gets pulled, I'm going to contact you because I think you and I could do a joint panel on family shenanigans, and it would be fun. It would be a blast.
That would be fun.
That example in itself is there's always that class clown in the family that will pick the most inappropriate time to decide to be class clown, and they know I'm going to be in a heap of trouble for this, but it's going to be fun,
Yeah. We took a family photo for Mom for Christmas last year because she missed it. And the very last second, he literally showed his ass. He mooned the camera. And we got a picture. And we're like, we're not sending that to Mom. She'll kill us. So we had to get another one. But we couldn't get him to behave. So he just, nope, you can't be in the picture.
You're not even going to be in it.
Get out of here.
There'll actually be less repercussions of you not being in it than if we let you be in it. That's
No, he's cool. Oh gosh.
Well, that's like we had a family reunion for my mother at a zoo that was called Como Zoo in St. Paul, Minneapolis, and the whole family showed up. I mean, oh my God, we had them from everywhere. Huge family gathering, and we took all of these big family group photos, right? Guess what? Not a single goddamn photo out of that whole family reunion has me in it.
Oh, whoa. Why?
They had me on the other end of the camera taking the pictures.
You were taking all the pictures. Yeah.
And every time somebody else would say, here, give me the camera, they were snapping pictures of smaller family groups without me. So there's not a single picture with me in it. Well, my sister came across one. She took one picture out of hundreds that I'm in, but it's with the whole family. There's like 40 people standing there, and there I am in the mix, And I thought, now what kind of bullshit is this that it's my mom and it's all about her, and she's surrounded by my three siblings, and I'm not there. It's like when I was growing up, they said, you know why he's so different from the rest of the other three kids is because he's the milkman's kid. They always made it sound like I was not part of I was a half of something, and that the milkman had to be my dad,
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to believe that shit. A very important family reunion, and nobody wants to take a picture with me with my mother.
Jeez.
Why?
Weird.
Well, the thing is you're really only related to her. The rest of us, we ain't got no relation to you. What the hell?
I need one.
Okay, in the bathroom.
I want to
hanging
glue
up.
it to something.
No. What?
I want to glue it to
One
something I
second.
made that needs a
Sure.
bow.
Okay.
But yeah, that family reunion there was so many bad and comical moments for that family reunion that, I got Sty stories for that. Yeah. I am actually, I'll let you guys know, just so you know, I'm actually working on, putting a video together about storytelling, about, and it revolves around what has happened here, and that's the Sty Story basis of my channel, and it takes it a step beyond Sty Stories, that video, and I'm having fun putting it together. Ben Kroll's asking, who's Terrie? Terrie, her name was Terrie Orr, and she was a sweetheart of mine back in the day for a short while. We were sweethearts for a few months, I would say. Not we weren't long-term sweethearts, but yeah. And we were dear friends all the way through our younger days, and that's a person that this story is about. I've got a couple of Sty stories that revolve around Terrie, and she was a character. You'll hear about her in about 15 minutes. Well, you hear a little bit about her. Where the milkman was his dad, but the milkman's wife was his mom. Yeah, that helps me, Dibble, when you're the milkman's son, but your mom is also the milkman's wife. That usually goes okay. Hey, Mike, good to see you, buddy. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope that whole neck thing is getting better.
My sister just had surgery on her clavicle.
So,
yeah.
Oh.
I know how it goes.
I see Joey is in the house too. Yeah.
Get well soon, Mike.
Yeah. Mike has been he's been through so much that when something new comes up, it's just like I keep thinking to myself, Mother Nature, God, I don't care who, but somebody leave him alone. Would you just leave that poor guy alone? Hasn't he gone through enough? Leave him alone for a while, man. I mean, yeah. He's still trying to recoup. Yeah. Well, and I know how you are. He feels better since he saw you. That's good. Sam knows where that's going.
He always jokes like that with me.
Yeah. I was watching some of our old live streams and the way we would get carried away. God, when I'd have the whole panel be up here and be all you gals, and it was just like I'd sit here like, oh boy. You ever see that on Fox News, Outnumbered, where it's 5 gals and they got one guy?
That one dude, yeah.
They got that one dude.
And
all 5 of those gals get their say first. If you ever watched one of those programs, they all get to say their piece first, and then they go, and what do you think? And I watched some of those guys like, oh shit, I don't know.
You pretty much just feel like you're having a flashlight shown in your face. Be like,
what? Oh no. Yeah. Now I know why they call it Outnumbered. Yeah. What do they want to hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to hear you say something stupid because they're going to
They
rip
don't want
you
to
up.
hear what you really think. They want you to
No,
tell them what they
what
feel
they
and
want.
want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good to see you, Peppers.
You're not lying. You're
The
not lying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes life interesting. What the heck? The I had someone the other day said to me, Sty, what do I have to do to piss you off? This guy was trying to piss me off. And I was laughed at him and I go, if I'm you want me to tell you how to piss me off, why would I do that? Why would I give you a big sign that says push this button? I
Yeah.
said, I, s- I said, at this stage of the game, I don't like getting pissed off. I don't like feeling like I got to get pissed off about something. I don't like that. I'd rather have a good day and just keep it that way. And you're sitting here asking me how to piss me off, and I'm supposed to answer that? I said, now you're pissing me off to even asking
Hey,
that.
hike with Mike. I'm fair because
Hey,
I don't care about the Super Bowl. Very nice.
that's right. That's
You win,
great.
you win.
That's right. That's right. I said it before. Super Bowl takes second place to Sty Story Sunday. I'm sorry, folks. Yeah, uh, super. It's Super Sunday at the Sty Shack. We're going to tell a Sty story.
Dude, I just thought about that. Both of your guys' Sunday streams are like triple S titles. Yours and Roland's. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I noticed that quite a long time ago. Roland,
I'm slow.
that just became like automatic habit. I'll have his channel up, and I'm listening all the way through his triple S live stream right up till mine starts, and then I gotta go, but that's he winds me up for my Sundays, Sty Stories Sundays,
Yeah.
and he knows. Dibble knows how to piss me off in camp, and that's leave trash everywhere. That Yeah, that's frustrating. I don't get really pissed off, but I do get frustrated. And when it pisses me off is when someone trashes the outdoors and I catch them at it and I tell them, whoa, don't do this. This is what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. It's so simple. Just pick up after yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then later, I catch them a second time. I was disappointed and a little unnerved with it the first time, but not pissed off. Second time, now you're pissing me off. And the third time, now Sty's all over you like flies on you know what. Yeah, third time, as far as I'm concerned, you got to be kicked out of our forest. There goes Mike. There's the Mike I really remember. He used to pop in all the streams. He always had these little one-liners like that, strapping Sty to a statement like that. Yeah, that's the Styberry back here. The video I'm working on, I talk about these books in the background and how in a person's life story, when you tell a person's life story, imagine how many books you'd have in the background. That's nothing compared to a person's full life story. We have a different perception of a person's life story. We read them all the time. You see books all the time. So-and-so's life story, and you read that book. It could be a small book, might be 300-400 pages. It might be a big book, 900 pages, 1,000 pages.
Hey, Mayberry.
Everybody goes, did you read about that person's life story? Well, I got that part of their life. Because if they were to actually tell their whole life story, this bookcase behind me would look tiny. People really don't realize that even the most mundane day of their lives has a story behind it. Every day of our lives. You live in every year 365 stories. Every time you wake up and get started again, you're starting a new story every day. So when people tell me I don't have a story to tell, I laugh at them. I go, "How old are you? You know, come on, don't give me that shit." You may not remember every single story, but every day has a story in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's great to see you, Mayberry. The less is truly more. I like that. I like that, Mike. I've always loved that. Is sometimes less is so much more. Yeah. The Because the more we have, the less we can actually pay attention to those surprising and unique things that are going on in the world around us. Because we're so absorbed with so many things that we don't notice a lot of things. We miss out on a lot of things because we're so distracted. And that's where down the road, on Sty Times, I'm going to be discussing topics like light pollution. Everywhere you go, there's light. There's man-made light everywhere you go. It really sucks. Be really nice, and it has been for me. I've been fortunate enough to get where there was no light pollution. But there's light pollution, and it's distracting. It takes away from your experience. Same with sound pollution. I've been way out in the backcountry in the wilderness. You couldn't hear a damn human sound out there anywhere. There wasn't a human for 50, 60 miles of me. And all of a sudden I hear, there goes a plane overhead. Spoiled the moment. Spoiled the moment. Yeah, we pollute our environment a lot of different ways. It goes beyond leaving trash in your campsite. We're just natural polluters. Natural polluters. I wish more people were natural cleanuppers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
But me Dibble has a lot of stories, but has to think about the statute of limitations. I'm getting beyond that, me Dibble. So I'm getting bolder and bolder with my stories because I stop and think, oh yeah, man, at 65, I can tell you that story. They can't come after me anymore. Yeah, I'm beyond the statute of limitations. Yeah. Yeah, Florida. I mean, beautiful place that's getting eaten up. More and more people are flocking to Florida. Well, there's only just so much land base there. And in order to keep a large enough and sound enough and stable, self-sustaining green space, Florida can only take in just so much. And I kind of wish they quit moving to Florida. Just leave it. It's bad enough it got to where it's at. But I think it's time people at least put a halt to it. That's enough. We got enough going on. We don't need to tear up anymore. We don't need to fill in our swamps and our ocean sides and our inland waters. We don't need to develop all of it. But that's the direction it's going, and it's sad. It's sad. I was just watching a little mini documentary, And they were talking about urban sprawl and how it's becoming redefined, and how rural areas, green spaces are now just really, it's getting to the point where, sure, you might have urban boundaries, but beyond those boundaries, forever they called it suburbs. Well, now it's getting so that there's not enough rural America. It's urban and suburb. It's all urban and suburb. And you no longer have the ruralness in so many areas. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah. Oh, there's folks from all around moving to Florida. We had several in our neck of the woods up here. Sold their places. They're gone. They're moved to Florida. And they weren't retirement age. They're working age. That's the thing is, for the longest time, that's what retirees did, was they headed to Florida, right? They headed to Florida. They'd spend their last 10 years living in some elderly development somewhere. It's not the way it is anymore. It's working age people moving down there with every intention of raising a family and multi-generation. And what it is those are seeds being planted in the state of Florida that will grow. And the state cannot take it. They cannot take so much. Hey, Rain Dancer, great to see you, sweetheart. Yeah, snowbirds in Florida. Used to be a lot of snowbirds. Now a lot of people are they're literally buying homes down there and just totally relocating. And they travel here. They're just the reverse. They travel here and spend a month in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, the upper states. They spend a month or so, and then they go back home in Florida or Texas. It's a shame. It's a shame. Oh, okay. We're at the half-hour mark. I'm going to have to do the Sty story, and I'm going to put Sam over here to the side. She'll pop back up when she's available, and we're going to get this Sty story on the road. The question was asked, who's Terrie? Whoops, Terrie can't swim. That's our Sty story tonight. Well, Terrie. First of all, let's tell you about Terrie. I met Terrie when I was a teenager. I was 17 years old when I met Terrie. I met her and this other gal. They were, I mean, you'd swear those two were attached at the hip. Terrie and Julie. Well, I had dated Terrie for a while. Her and I were sweethearts for a while. And then it kind of switched up, and I ended up dating Julie. But Terrie and I always, there was just something about, we just loved each other's company. We were always together. And Terrie had such a great personality. She was a great gal. She was tiny. She was only 5'1". I don't know what she weighed, but I could pick her up with one arm, carry her around. She's like a little kid. She was just tiny gal. And very vibrant. And, I don't know. She was just one of those people where it's just like her whole spirit, her whole soul was just jumping, trying to get out. She's one of those where you almost had to hold her back, say, slow down, girl, slow down. And she was a gal that was a little too brave. She's willing to try anything. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do that. I don't care. Sure. So we had some pretty wild little adventures. And well, okay. So what does Terrie not being able to swim and the word whoops have to do with her? Okay. At this time, I had a 28-foot Chris Craft day cruiser boat. Big, beautiful boat. It was a double-hulled mahogany boat. It was, oh boy, was that one sweet boat. All right. The front third of the boat was enclosed cabin. Had a deck out on the bow of the boat. Had a nice big windshield, side windows on the cabin. The whole back 2/3 of the boat was all open deck, right? All teakwood deck boards. All of the interior of the cabin was teakwood and oak. Yeah, she was the pride at that time of Lake Minnetonka, where I was. I had a management contract for a restaurant, a pizza establishment. And the boat really was for marketing the restaurant. But everybody knew. It was a business write-off, but it was Sty's party barge is what it was. So I would be out on my boat whenever I could. And anybody that wanted to come with could come. If I wasn't in that restaurant, running that restaurant, I was on that boat. If I wasn't in the restaurant or on the boat, I was at a place called the Minnetonka Mist. It was right on Lake Minnetonka, and it was a big club, bar, pub, dance hall. Awesome place right on the lake. And I cruise in. They had all the big docks out front. I cruise in with the big old boat. And the boat was called the Pizza Magnet. Had a big golden pizza on the back of it, and it said the Pizza Magnet on the back. And that was to draw people to my pizza place, right? Because my pizza place was on the same lake and only a block away from this Minnetonka Mist, this big club. And I had a big 180-foot dock with double T and mooring posts all along the sides and the front of that dock. So people could come off the lake and they just walk across the street right into my restaurant for pizza. So I'm out there with my big boat advertising my business, right? Well, Terrie, she came to me and asked, you wouldn't have a position I could get at your restaurant, would you? I said, sure. Oh, I knew she was a great waitress. And she was 17 at the time. And I said, I'll hire you in a flash, girl. I said, the customers will love you. I know they'll love you. Well, they did. They did. And she was one of my top waitresses. Like I said, she's a tiny little gal, but boy, she worked like a workhorse. Boy, she was one worker. Well, when I took over management of that pizza joint, I got the big boat. At that time, Terrie and I hadn't been hanging around with each other. We kind of went our separate ways and with our other friends, and we're doing our own thing. But now she's working for me, right? And we decided, hey, we need to hang out more. Well, she decides, oh, I'd love to go spend a day on the boat with you. If we both have the same day off someday and it's a nice sunny day, can we go out on your boat? I said, oh, you bet we can. On a day like that, I guarantee you. But keep in mind, there'll be several people on the boat. It's not unusual for me to have between 8 and 16 people on that big boat. Well, she said, that's better yet. We'll party hardy on the boat. Well, now, you'd think I'd remember I dated the gal, and when I dated her, it was in the summer, and I swim. She don't swim. She loves the water, but she don't want to get in it. She sinks like a frickin' rock. Now, people don't realize if you totally relax, everybody floats. If you're alive and you totally relax, you will float to the surface. Not this girl. She sank like a rock because she panicked and she'd sink like a rock. Well, so we get out on the boat. We find that it was a Sunday, and we're both off work. And I had several people want to go out on the boat with me. I said, come on, let's get on the boat. Well, in the cabin of the boat, I had a really nice wet bar in the boat. You know, all the drinks you want, beer, mixed drinks, whatever. It was all there. Party hardy. Food, snacks, always on board. We started out at about 10 o'clock in the morning. We cruised around for a couple hours, and then we came back to the pizza joint. And we went in the Golden Pizza, and I got everybody pizza, you know. I run the joint. It's my place. So fed everybody. We all loaded back in the boat, started drinking. We're out there all afternoon. You would think that people had enough pizza, right? Well, Terrie, she starts yelling, we want pizza, we want pizza, we want pizza. And I'm thinking, geez, we had pizza for lunch, you know. And I thought, well, if that's what they want, that's what they get. We're going to have pizza. Well, now this back in the day, they hadn't passed the law yet. Oddly enough, a year later, they did pass the law. There was nothing in the law that said I couldn't drink and operate a boat. Well, I'd been drinking all day, along with everybody on my boat. And I considered everybody a crew member on my boat. So me and the crew were all tanked up. Now, Terrie, the one that can't swim and is so afraid of the water, she goes out on the forward deck on the bow and sits on the bow with a leg on either side, and right between her legs in the front is the big marker light, the red and green light out on the bow of the boat. And she's sitting there with her hands on that big old light, and she's got pack cigarettes in her left hand, and she's got a cigarette in her face, and she's smoking away. Now, this might seem a little out of context, but it really isn't. Now, I just loved World War II history, and people don't realize, John F. Kennedy, a lot of people don't realize that he captained a PT boat, which they're about 40 feet long, and they're fast as sin. I mean, they were super fast, and they're torpedo boats. And one thing he liked to do was he would fly into the docks at their Navy base, and you had to have perfect timing, and he'd have his crew all set up for it. The second he gave the order, they'd throw that boat into neutral, and then he's coming in at full bore towards that dock, and they'd throw that boat into reverse and fully throttle it up, and that boat would come to a stop right at the dock, the bow of it just about hitting the dock. I always thought that was cool. So I learned to do that with my big old boat. So here I am intoxicated, and I'm flying in to my pizza joint's dock, and I'm going to do that. Well, I noticed there's boats all tied up along the T of the dock facing the lake. So I'm going to have to come up to the edge, the end of that T. And I thought, well, that's cool. I can do a fast stop without worrying about hitting anything. So I zip in there, as fast as that big old cruiser would go. I idled it down, threw it into neutral, stuck it in reverse, throttled it up, and the engine goes pop, 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 dies. But as it died, that boat kind of stood up in the back end, and the bow went real deep. Went down real fast because that boat came to almost a full stop for a moment. And I'll never forget looking out that windshield thinking, oh crap, no power, we're going to hit the shoreline. And the shoreline was all these big rocks. But what I saw, all of a sudden that thought went right out my mind. All of a sudden I saw little Terrie who can't swim. And I go, oops, boink, right off the bow of that boat. Now that water is about, I don't know, about 6 feet deep all along that dock. I stood up out of my captain's chair and I'm looking over the bow of that boat, and you'll never believe what I saw. I saw that left arm of hers, that left hand that had her pack of cigarettes sticking out of the water. And that's all of her you could see was between her elbow and her wrist is where the water was. And her pack is up in the air and no Terrie. And I had gotten the motor started and I started backing up. And I'm yelling at the rest of the people, someone get in the water and save Terrie. She can't swim. We all couldn't help but burst out laughing. All of a sudden, that arm starts moving towards the shore, and all of a sudden, you can see it's getting shallower. All of a sudden, her head pops up, and you could hear her gasp for air. And she walks up and manages to climb up those rocks onto the shoreline. And she walks back to the boat holding that pack of cigarettes, still holding it up in the air so no water runs down her hand to get her cigarettes wet. And she looks at me through the window of the boat and she goes, thank God I saved my cigarettes. Now, I'll tell you what, they might not be kidding. Smoking could be bad for you. If she wouldn't have had enough traction to walk her ass out of that lake, her smoking would have killed her. She didn't give a shit about anything in the world. She didn't care that she couldn't swim. She couldn't care about nothing except for that pack of cigarettes. Do not get wet. Don't wreck my smokes. And she saved the day because she saved her pack of Marlboros, man. Not a single drop of water on them. And she was happy. That made us laugh that much harder. She was terrible. I told everybody, that's her personality. She could kick the devil right in the nuts, and she'd go, oh, did that hurt? Here, let me help you, and kick him again. She didn't care. She didn't care about ramifications or what could happen. It's just like, I'm going through life. Everybody else better just get out of the way because I could run you over. And that girl, I would have thought that would have taught her. I said, and I even told her best friend, Julie, I said, I'll bet you anything. That's enough to get Terrie to learn how to swim now. She goes, oh no, Terrie said, Terrie told her, hey, if you ever fall out of a boat, just make sure it's not so deep that you'll get your cigarettes wet. She had no intention of learning how to swim. Just don't go in the water so deep that you might get your cigarettes wet. Crazy Terrie. Whoops, there goes Terrie. Boom. I wish I had footage of that. It would have been viral. To see a person just all of a sudden go airborne off the end of a big cruiser, just boom. I mean, midair, she looked like Superman taking off. And I thought for sure she's going to drown. And to see that one hand sticking out of the water with that pack of cigarettes. Now, how the hell did she hit that water and land on her feet enough and without enough splash to get them cigarettes wet? I don't know. It was a miracle. It was a damn miracle. All out of a little 5'1" tiny little gal that probably weighed about 85 pounds if she was lucky. But there you go. Whoops. Guess what? Terrie can't swim, but she can save your smokes for you. There's your story for today. Hope you enjoyed it.
That's funny.
Need some
The little
flotation.
things.
Yeah. Little moments.
The little things. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why I always tell people, there's thousands of stories out there because you have these little 5, 10, maybe half-hour long moments in a whole lifetime, and they seem so insignificant. But actually, if you revisit them, you can get a chuckle out of it. You can, maybe somebody will be inspired to learn how to swim because they don't smoke. I got no reason to not learn how to swim. So, yeah. Tell your story. Tell your story. Oh, you got in a car accident there, Mr. Fulton. Well, our prayers are with you.
Yeah, he came in and mentioned that last night. I feel pretty bad. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best we can do is just hope and pray that everybody recovers. Everything will be okay. That just goes back to my front end argument that life itself is a long story for everybody. There's another chapter in Mr. Fulton's life story right there. Yep. Stories all over the place. So what is the weather like in Alaska?
Right now, let's see, 32 degrees, but there's like a snowstorm coming in, and there's like weather advisories for certain parts of Alaska. So might have a blizzard in a little bit.
And that's that's the thing. At 32 degrees, you could get dumped on with snow.
Yeah, and big fog issue too. So fog warning. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we hit. Yeah, we hit 14 degrees today, but it's 9 degrees right now, and it says that
it's crazy. It's warmer here.
we don't have any wind, so it feels like 9 degrees. Well, I'll tell you what, it gets below 30. It's cold. That's the way I see it.
Exactly.
And I don't know on the meteorological side of it up there in Alaska, the weather patterns and how they are affected. But in our region here, between 18 degrees and 32 degrees is when you worry about snow. That's when you get the big, heavy snow accumulations is between 18 and 32 degrees. And I keep looking out there and I'm going, oh, thank God, no more snow, no more snow. I hope it happens just like this again tomorrow. I don't care if it's cold, just no more snow. I just don't want to snow blow anymore. I don't want to shovel anymore.
I know. And you know how Frank roofs all year round. So if it's snowing or has snowed, he's got to go up there and shovel all that shit off before he gets to work.
And
he hates it.
Man.
Yeah.
That's the problem when you're in heavy snow country.
Mhm.
That's you can't say I'll skip it. I'll get it next snowstorm because you get 2 heavy snowstorms and you could end up with roof damage, man. You ignore it completely, could end up with a collapse. And that's one thing I learned in northern Montana too was that, oh boy, get that snow off the damn roof. The heavy snow loads were crazy.
Snow flurries, ready for
Yeah.
summer. Yeah.
Oh, so am I. I ordered some heirloom seeds because I'm going to grow 2 different varieties, a cherry tomato and a yellow pear tomato. I just love them, man. Whenever I grow those, I just walk around. If I'm outside, yeah, Sty's got a pocket full of them damn tomatoes. I just go over to the bush, pick and eat, and I got to grow myself some green peppers. There's a few things I'm going to grow this summer now that I got a yard. But Running Water's laughing at me because I said, man, oh man, that's another benefit. The rent is so cheap here and everything's covered. Plus, I got the yard that I didn't have before. For 3 years, I had to live without a yard. But he's laughing. I said, another win-win for me is lots of channel content because this yard sucks. My youngest boy never maintained it. So I've got so much hedge and tree trimming and so much. I got a pile of 5 ash trees out here that were cut down 2 years ago. They got to be all bucked up and stacked and moved and then mow this whole yard. And there's weed beds that are gotten huge and there's so much yard work to do. I told him, I'm just setting the camera up, wearing my remote mic, and I'm going to be out there working in the yard. I'm going to have all kinds of content out in the yard. And Running Water's just laughing. He's just like, yeah, well, that's cool that you're doing it to my yard, Yeah. Looking forward to it, though. Yeah, I'm going to get my tomato plants started here in the next couple of weeks. They don't have to have a huge start on them for me. I got quite a while before they're going to ever see the outdoors here in my neck of the woods. So, and I just don't really have the right spots to have a lot of starter plants indoors. Tomatoes and peppers, I'll get them going. I'm not growing any of Phil's peppers. I'm not going to have Jimmy Pickle seeds going on at my place. No. I wish I could. But there's no way I can do that hot shit anymore.
One second.
Yeah, Old Man River. We've been lucky this year. We've had no nor'easters. Nor'easters here where I live, our nor'easters, it's not the snow because I live on this Lake Superior coastline. It's not the snow, it's the cold it brings and the seas, the rough seas. If we get a nor'easter, it can take the ice out. I mean, I've seen a nor'easter break up 2 to 3 foot thick ice. But we usually get hit with the nor'easters in the fall of the year before the ice is on, and we'll have breakers crashing over the shoreline here right to our highway, and they'll close the highway because of what's crashing over onto the highway. And the highway is at least 60 feet from the shoreline. And they'll have to close the highway because of the waves crashing up and over the highway into the swamplands on the other side. Yeah. And boy, the mariners in the fall of the year up here, yeah, they dread if they've got to be on the big old boats out here. And from mid-October straight through December, they just don't like it. Because if they get caught in a nor'easter, that's what takes down them big boats. Nobody wants to go by way of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Justin says that's why I won't ice fish on Superior. See, we have so much ice fishing here where I'm at because it's what they call Chequamegon Bay. See, Chequamegon Bay is rimmed by the 21 Apostle Islands here in northern Wisconsin. From where I'm at, straight across the lake. If you went straight across the lake, you'd end up in Grand Marais, Minnesota, just a few miles from the Canadian border. But in Chequamegon Bay, from Chequamegon Bay out to the island rim, you get really good ice. You get really good ice. And especially in Chequamegon Bay proper, off of Ashland and Washburn, Wisconsin, right now they got almost 3 solid feet of ice out there. It's good ice. It's good ice. In fact, today, all afternoon, I wanted so bad. Next Sunday, I got busy today with things around here and people online and stuff. I couldn't get away. Next Sunday, all goes well. I'm going to be down there and I'm going to get some footage and hopefully put a video together of our ice races right off of the shoreline here in Ashland. We have a big oval track and we ice race all winter out there. And the ice races today were going on, and they had some loud ones today, boy. They're stock cars rigged up for the ice, all running studded tires, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna next Sunday try to get down there, drive down there, park at the track, and maybe crawl up on the roof of the truck with a tripod and film the races for a while. Hopefully the weather will be good. And no, they don't ice race the motorcycles here, and I wish they did. I did that for 2 seasons. I actually race ice bikes. Yeah. Both seasons I was in the 250 and below class, and I had a 125 Bultaco Italian bike. My rear studded tire sported 3-inch spikes on it. Front tire had these little 3/4 inchers on it. And on the straightaways on the oval track, I could hit 60 miles an hour with that bike on the straights. And I was coming around the bends, averaging about 50. People think, well, that's not that fast. Try it on a motorcycle on bare ice. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how I love running the ice bikes, man. I crashed and burned a few times, and I was into snowmobiles just prior to that, and I raced sled for 3 seasons, and you like to see our 500? Yeah, nice bike. The one bike, I tell you, I tried everything with that bike to try to make it a practical usable bike for any purpose. I thought I tried it for enduro. It just no good for enduro. I thought maybe I could use it for trials. No good. And I thought I'll rig her up for ice. There's no good on the ice either. And I thought, well, hybrid it, put it on the road. Yeah, no good on the road either. And that was my Suzuki 400. That thing was a piece of crap. It was a single cylinder 400. It was worth it. I could start 1200 sporty easier than I could start that damn single jug 400. And yeah. Didn't have studded tires when I grew up. They used winter tires, chains. Yeah. Well, yeah. You mean for a domestic car? Yeah. Because I can remember 1960s, 62, 63, 64. My dad had his all-round studded tires on his squad car. You got to go back a little farther than that before they didn't have studded tires. I'm not trying to age you, old man River. I'm not trying to age you. Please, no, don't take me that way. No. Yeah, I'm not sure where Spicy is, what he's up to. Spicy's his old man. He's my buddy. He knows. I'd never hold it against him if he's got something else going on. I don't. If I needed him, and I just hinted at it, I guarantee you, he'd be here. That's the way that man is, and I told him the same. If he ever needs me, just hint to it, and I'll be there for him. And otherwise, we all have lives, and we all have mixed interests and things to do and stuff. And he knows how I am. Don't let an opportunity pass. If you see an opportunity that if you don't grab it, it's going to be done and gone. I could go hang out with someone I hang out with all the time, or I can experience that special, different little thing. Well, go do that. Shoo, go. And, enjoy every minute of life and get all you can out of it, And we share each other's lives. We don't own each other's lives, Yeah. Hey, Travis, bud, it's good to see you. Ahoy. Yeah, ahoy fits with my Sty story tonight. Ahoy, Terrie.
Woman overboard.
What's that?
I said woman overboard.
Oh, woman overboard. I was surprised when I yelled at everybody, somebody get overboard, she can't swim. None of them bums jumped in. Not one of them. I did. All the guys on the boat that evening.
They just stood there in shock. And that's funny.
I was fit to be tied. I was fit. Two of the guys, in fact, I didn't let them back on the boat. I said, "You're gonna let one of my best friends drown, you bums! You ain't get back on the boat." And they started arguing with me about, well, why didn't you? I was inside the cabin of the boat. I was the equivalent of about 25 to 30 feet away from her. You guys were less than 10 feet away from her in the lake. I could have run out there, jumped off the bow of that boat, and helped her out of that lake. And you guys should have been able to do it 3 times in the amount of time it would have taken me to get there. And you're telling me that why didn't you do something? What do you mean? I'm the guy that sent her off the bow of the boat. I did my part. Yeah. I'm the one that made the evening interesting. You guys needed to salvage it, Yeah. Yep. Pass the buck. It's his fault. No, it's his fault. No, it's her fault.
Nobody wants to fess up.
No. The one of the gals that was on board, though, she was another one of my waitresses. She said I would have helped Terry, but she said I was laughing too hard. I would have drowned myself. She said.
That's honest. I like it.
That was it. That gal, she was too honest. I mean, she really was. Her name was Vera. Vera Tietzel. I'll never forget her. I adored her. Now, mind you, I wasn't even 20 years old yet. And Vera was 45. And she, whenever she had a chance, man, she's on that boat partying with Sty, man. I went to school with her son. And we were buddies, her and her son and I. And oh no, his mom wanted to be on my party boat. Whenever I was going out, Vera was right there. And she's somebody that started something new at my pizza restaurant that a lot of people thought. In fact, I even had the government say, we don't even know if you can do that. Well, it worked out with the help of an attorney. It worked out. Yes, I can. I had gotten my restaurant to a point because of her that if you wanted to be a waitress at my restaurant, it'll cost you. When she came to me, she said, Sty, I want to be the lead waitress in your restaurant. I want to be guaranteed 40 hours a week. Nothing less than. It's always at least 40 hours a week. And I said, okay. I said, most of my waitresses are on 30 hours or less shifts, you know. And she goes, no, I got to be guaranteed 40 hours a week. And she said, and I'll pay you, she says, I'll pay you $50 a week. And I go, what, you're bribing me to get that schedule? She goes, no, I'll pay you $50 a week, but you got to guarantee me that I get to be on that floor for 40 hours a week. And I said, and what do you want for a damn salary? What do you want for wages? You know, at that time, waitresses were getting 60 cents an hour plus tips. And I thought, oh shit, she's going to say she wants $1.50 an hour or $2 an hour. And she goes, well, no, you're not going to pay me. She said, I get 100% of my tips. You don't get no cut. And I said, no, I don't take my waitresses' tips. And she goes, good. Then there's no wage. You don't pay me a wage. I pay you for that guaranteed slot. I said, well, you got to be kidding me. And she said, oh, no. That woman, the money she made, holy shit. I asked her, shouldn't I be charging you more than $50 a week? She was making anywhere between $800 and $1,500 a week in tips.
Damn.
And the average waitress at that time was making $150 a week with tips. She was making 10 times what anybody else was making, even with paying me $50 a week. So I offered that to my other waitresses as an incentive and would give them guaranteed shifts. If they wanted guaranteed shifts, they would have to buy them. And then they become independent contractors. They have to provide your own, because we did have a dress code. You had to provide your own aprons, blah, 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 so that we could justify them as independent contractors. And I ended up with a total of 4 waitresses that had locked in guaranteed shifts, and then I had 4 more waitresses that were on rotating schedules, regular hourly waitresses. And just to piss every restaurant in town off, I paid them $1 an hour plus tips. And every other restaurant in town, every owner came to see me at mine. You son of a bitch, you cannot be paying waitresses that. That is absolutely insane. Especially the ones that lost waitresses to my restaurant. I said, boy, they do good here. They do excellent here. Well, yeah, but they used to do good at my restaurant too. And I said, and they didn't get paid for it. So your problem, not mine. Yeah. I love the folks from that era and just their whole work ethic and frame of mind. That it was like, hey, we were all massaging each other to all of us, let's make some money. Loved it. Hey, Chase. I wish I had a little Chase. I wish I had one.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Running water offered. He told me, he says, yeah, if you want to get a house dog, go ahead. And I'm just so up in the air on it. I don't know. Maybe. And the thing is I just a little bit nervous on will my dog be nice and compatible with Bean,
Yeah.
I get such a kick out of Bean when he comes home. I don't want Running Water to ever feel Bean has to be controlled because of another dog,
We in our family, we usually just introduce our dogs like we do our kids to each other.
Yeah.
We take Sky and Chase with us when we go to my sister's, and they all have their dogs too, and so they just hang out from a young age on, and they just they're pretty good around each other.
See, and that's the thing is Bean's only home 4, maybe 5 times a year. But I figure if I get a smaller dog like Chase, Bean had to put up with my youngest boy's nasty cat.
Yeah.
And that cat's like, Tiger, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. That's all there is to it. Just you're bothering me. I'm gonna swat the hell out of you. And poor Chase just never figured that out. And it's I know that cat's going to beat the shit out of me, but I'll piss him off anyway. And I'm hoping that if I got a small dog, that's the way it would be with Bean, because Bean, Running Water takes him to the doggy spa, and they turn him loose out in their big dog's yard out there, and he mingles with all those other dogs. And Running Water says it doesn't take long, and it's like he's running the whole yard, It's like all the other dogs want to play with Bean for some reason. So I'm thinking that would work. No, I don't want a pet raccoon, Justin. No. I had 2 friends that had raccoons, and then an acquaintance that had one. And all 3 of them little bastards, I would have made hats out of all of them. I mean,
God.
They're cute as sin, and they can be funny as hell. But if you want to put up with coon shit and damaged furniture and other things, get a raccoon. Go right ahead. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. Oh, no, they're good pets. They can be taught this, taught that, taught. No. I've seen 3 examples that were so clear as a bell. No, I'm not even going to take the risk. I had ferrets for a while, and the one ferret I had, that little nasty bastard, he thought he was a grizzly bear. Little freaking ferret, and he acted like he was a grizzly bear. I'm going to kick your ass, He'd attack you, he'd bite you. He'd chase you. He'd actually stalk you. I'd let him loose out. I'd take him his cage out in the backyard, and I'd let him loose, and he'd run around the backyard. And then I'd look, and there he is. He's hiding in the lilac bushes, or he's hiding in the rose bushes. And you go walking by, and he'll come slinking out of there and run right up your damn leg, up, bite you in the damn neck. And you'd swat that son of a bitch off of you, and he'd go run and hide in the bushes again, wait for the next victim. He was attacking people. And here, the cat walks through the yard, and the ferret watches the cat walk by like, it's just a cat. I need one of them big two-legged prey, you know? Yeah, he was mean, nasty. And
That's funny.
the way he'd slink, and he'd go like that at you when he'd take off running to bite you. And
They're funny when they talk.
yeah, I felt bad because he was the last ferret I had, and then found out neighbor lady poisoned him. Yeah, I had him out on our picnic table in his cage for the neighbor kids. The neighbor kids were over, and they liked him, and he was nice to them for some reason. And they'd play with him, and they'd make sure he stayed in his cage. They put him back in his cage, and I had him out there for the afternoon. Towards evening, the kids I noticed out the window the kids were heading home, and I thought, well, I'll go get. We called him Henry. I said, I'll go get Henry off the picnic table, bring him in the house. And I went out, and there was a sardine can laying outside of the cage, but up against the cage, and it was about half empty. And there's my ferret dead in the cage. And it was real evident. So I took the ferret and the sardine can to the vet and said, look what I found, you know. And they said, well, we feel bad for you and your ferret, you know, can you take them home? You know, we really don't take dead pets. We take live ones and try to make them not dead, you know. I said, yeah, I'll take him home. I just wanted, is there any way you can tell if he was poisoned or not? And they said, yeah. And they managed to draw blood off of him. And then they had him and the can tested. And sure enough, he was poisoned. And the only thing anybody could put together is 2 houses down from us, that lady constantly was preaching about people should not be allowed to own wild animals. And that Sty guy is a perfect example. He's got a half timber wolf, half husky, and he's got that wild weasel, she called it. And so we just kind of assumed she's the one that poisoned them. Yeah, Justin, damn people. Hey, Deidre Baker, good to see you, Deidre. And Ingalls family's in the house. Hi. Yeah, there's always somebody.
No stranger to having a dog poisoned.
Yeah. You've had to deal with.
Yeah, Maya was only 2 what it was a ring of punks in the neighborhood who were trying to burglarize houses. And if you had yourself a yard dog or a dog, period, that you would alert neighbors or anybody that somebody's not supposed to be there, they'd slip them poison. And we went fishing one time, came home, and she just wasn't acting right. I was like, what the frick? You know, what's going on with my dog? And she's never been so sick. So we took her in, and they're like, well, it's already running its course. There's not much we can do unless you want us to operate, and that's going to cost about $3 to $6 grand, and and we don't even know if we can save her then.
Right.
It's just stupid. So yeah, she was only 2, but yeah, she was a husky, a Malamute mixed with I can't remember. Very young. It was dumb. I was so mad. That's why Sky is so like important to me.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
dog
It's
is close to my heart too, because she reminds
it's
me of her.
that's cool. That's cool because yeah, it's like now you feel even that much more protective. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't let nobody come near my dogs. Not here. Mm-mm.
yeah.
Not until we move.
The you know the I'm sitting here and it's going through my mind that these sneaky bastards. You know, yeah, it makes perfect sense that these criminals would do something like that. The when you're rural or semi-rural, more suburban or out of the city, so many people have dogs, and it's for not just their pet, but because they make great home defense. They warn you of things, and they're not just companions; they've got a lot more value than that. And yeah, these guys, so many people have dogs that make them aware if there's someone around, or warn the neighbors that someone's at your house. And how ingenious of these crooks to let's wipe out everybody's burglar alarms and then we'll go and rob their homes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, oh man, you'd love to get a hold of people like that and beat them within an inch. The
Very true.
old man river, what's she saying? Sty, we had a snobbish girl whose parents were wealthy who thought she should get $9 an hour when the normal hourly wage was only 110 an hour, and was very stuck up. Oh, I love that. I had a few. I had throughout my whole life, all the different positions I've had where I did all the hiring. I had people show up and say, I'm worth XYZ. And I'd start laughing at them. And they go, oh, don't laugh at me. I come from this elite family and blah, blah. And they got all these reasons why they're worth so much. And I go, all you did was prove to me that you're pretty worthless. What I was offering is too much for you. If I were to hire you, I think I'd cut the wage in half that I was offering, because that kind of self pride and ignorance is foolish, just foolish. If you come to me and say, oh, I'm worth $1 an hour more than what you're offering, now I might be interested. I might want to hear why. Why are you worth $1 more an hour? But you come in that situation, $8 more per hour, there's no way you're worth that. If I'm offering you $1.10 and you want $9, there's no way you're ever going to be able to justify why I would fill that position with someone that's worth $9 an hour. And that's what I've had a couple of individuals say, oh, I'm glad that, I thank you for inquiring about the position, but you're worth way more than this position is worth. So why would I take you? I mean, especially when there's an open job market for you at this wage that you want. Why are you coming to me at this real low wage position, but wanting to get paid that high position hourly rate? So I tell them, no, I can't use you. If you're not going to take what I'm offering, down the road, get out of here. If a person decides they're worth a lot more than what the market is offering, well, then good luck. Go find someone that's going to pay that.
Sorry, stupid alarm.
Yeah. The other day I had 3 alarms go off at my house here. I got an alarm in the living room, got one in my bedroom, and I got one in the kitchen. And I don't know why, but the prior day I had set those alarms for different times throughout the day for certain things. Well, when they went off, I just let them go off, and I got upset, so they'll just go off the one time. And then I forgot about it. So I had all three of them set. The following day, they all went off one after another within like a 2-hour period. It's like, what the hell? Am I supposed to know something that's going on in my house? I got alarms going off in every room. Hey, Sam, you would have been proud of me today, man. I would have made somebody a good wife today. My
What did you do?
my whole damn kitchen. The only thing I haven't done, and I'll do that tomorrow morning, is scrub the floor. But my whole kitchen is spotless.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Every square inch. I mean, I even went so far, I got a big spice rack. I don't know what that holds, like 32 different spices in it or more. I took the whole spice rack, all apart, everything, scrubbed the spice rack, cleaned all of the containers, put them all back in. I mean, everything got I looked at things and I go, huh. I was so anal. We've got 2 drawers that have 2 of those silverware sorters in it. We got enough silverware for 6 households here. I took both of those. I filled that sink full of hot water, steaming hot water, soapy water, dumped both of those racks of silverware in, washed those racks, and dried them, put them back, washed out the drawers, put the racks back in, and I washed clean silverware, hundreds of fork spoons. I was so anal in there. I started at 6:15 this morning, and I wasn't done until an hour before the stream tonight.
Oh, dang.
Spent the whole day in that kitchen, and I'm just like, when I finished, I'm looking, I'm going, huh, whose kitchen is this? And what makes me feel good is I don't do much in my kitchen, so I won't have to do that shit again for another 3-4 months, where I do a full kitchen clean, and that's the sweet part of it. It's getting pretty bad when an old guy just to feel like he accomplished something cleans his kitchen,
Yes.
Well, I even got the downstairs bathroom scrubbed too. Yeah. So where I'm excited is I can't wait for running water to get home. He'll be home the 1st or 2nd week of March, and I can't wait for him to walk in the door. I want to see his reaction, because it's not the house he left. Definitely not the house he left. That's another video I'll eventually get to, and that's a before and after. I've got video of the way the house was. Pour running water, we'd come home, and the way he found his house, the way I found it when I moved in, and then now the way it's turning out. I want to do a video before and after, room by room, and just to show people that even an old fart like me, I didn't do all this stuff in a day. I didn't do it all in a week. Keep in mind, I've been here 2 months. Well, not quite 2 months. Might as well say I've been here since the 1st of January. So a month and a half. I've been here a month and a half. And I did something every day, a little something every day. And it goes a long ways. Yeah. Justin says, you want to clean my house, LL? No, I don't. It's it's not that I enjoy cleaning the house. I just don't mind it. It's the end product that gives me the encouragement to do it. It's not the cleaning. I don't care for cleaning house. It's not something I like to do. It's not like, oh, I want to clean house. It's like, now I want to clean it, and I want a good look at it all cleaned up, all organized. And then I want to kick back for a couple of months and enjoy it and keep it up. See, that's one thing is unless I'm cooking on the stove, you're never going to see any kind of dirty dishes around here, unless you come and look at night. If I dirty a few dishes throughout the day, they might be there the next morning, but they're not there. They're all washed, dried, put away well before noon comes around, before lunchtime comes around. Most of the time if I use a plate, bowl, silverware, pots and pans, whatever, I use it, fix my meal, eat. After I eat, put the leftovers away, wash all the dishes, put those all away. To me, it's all one activity. You do it all at one time. You prep, eat, clean it, put it all away. It's all one event. Then you don't have to think about it ever during the day. Yeah. Justin says my kitchen table is a desk now. I've got this kitchen table. It stands high. It's bar height, like you're at a bar. Bar height. And it's got two stools that are bar height, stools with backs on them. I love it. It's folding. You can fold it up. Stand it against the wall if you want. And I got that in the studio against that outer wall on the back. We got a new big 5.5 by 7.5 foot throw rug here in front of my studio. It's nice. Boy, walk on it barefoot. It's cushy, comfy. Running Water had bought that, and he said he was going to put that in the living room. Then he said, the colors in it match your studio. Put it in the studio. I said, oh, okay. So I did. I put it. We got this big blue rug over here rolled up against the wall that's going in the living room. There's an old style, Indian style, not Native American, Indian style throw rug in there. That one's coming out of here. It's been in the family for about 20 years. That one's coming out of here. We might find somewhere else for it, but that other rug is going in the living room. That I'm not going to do until Running Water's here to help, because that requires 2 entertainment centers to be lifted and rug pulled out from under them, and a huge 8-foot long double recliner sofa. That rug has to come out from under, where the new rug comes from the front of the sofa up to the entertainment center, fills that part of the room without having to lift furniture. Yes. James, good to see ya. Yeah. Native Kutso was here early. Old Man River. Yeah. Justin says, I'm a sinner with the paper plates. No, you're not. I've got Running Water, and I have a stack about that high of good quality paper plates, a matching huge stack of bowls. We have one drawer in the kitchen. That whole drawer is nothing but plastic silverware. It's like dishes. I don't mind doing dishes. I don't mind it. It doesn't mean I want to. And a lot of things I eat, I can eat on paper. And yeah, I do. Use a lot of paper plates, and plastic silverware is a misnomer for me. I had people say, "Oh, well, that's so bad for the environment. You throwing all that plastic away." I don't throw away even a tenth of the plastic that the average person does. I learned that from my mother, at least not as far as she would go, but I wash my plastic silverware. I don't throw my plastic silverware out till it breaks. We've all done that. You're eating and snap, oh, that fork lost a spine. That one gets thrown, and I take a fresh one. And that one might last 4, 5, 6 meals, washing it and putting it back in the drawer. I do that with plastic silverware. I don't do that with plastic glasses, cups, the solo cups. I don't do that with solo cups. But my mother was terrible. She saved styrofoam cups and would wash them. And I'd go to her house, visit, and I wouldn't want to dirty dishes at her place, but I got to have a cup of coffee. And she'd know I was coming, so she'd make a fresh pot. And I'd grab one of them damn styrofoam cups out of the cupboard, fill it with coffee, put my cream sugar in it, and then I'd go, oh, shit. You can see the beads of coffee coming through the styrofoam, the bottom, the sides. She had used and rewashed that styrofoam cup to the point that it didn't even hold liquid anymore. And I kept telling her, throw that crap away. I mean, styrofoam? No, don't rewash and reuse your styrofoam. Yeah. She saved everything. I've watched her actually take a paper plate and the ones that are coated, the shiny ones, and wash them and save them. As long as the backs of them aren't dirty, she'd wash the plate itself, dry it, put it in her cupboard. I said, what the hell are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? Well, it only had a sandwich on it. It didn't get any ketchup or Miracle Whip or something like that on it. It's just a sandwich. So I just dusted it off, cleaned it, and put it in the cupboard. Okay, I understand that, but that's kind of ridiculous, Oh, thanks, Sam. I was just heading over there.
I was trying to. Did I get it?
Yeah. It looked like it.
He's in here, right?
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think he's in the group.
Okay, well, I'll do a separate one then. I screwed up.
Do you have him?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for him right now.
I don't know what Running Water's up to, why he's not up here. He's probably in some bad spot with his truck.
I think that's it. That should be it.
Okay.
Yep, I did. Pretty sure.
Do
you reuse Ziplocs? What?
It all depends on what they were used for. If I'm using a Ziploc for something that's not, there's no liquid, it's for dry things, like I'll have a Ziploc bag that's got a bunch of chocolate chip cookies in it. I'm done. You look at it, it looks clean. It's got a few crumbs, shake the crumbs out of it. And then I'll fill it full of miscellaneous stuff out of my miscellaneous drawer, screws and stuff, and I'll use it for non-food things. Otherwise, no. But again, my mother, she was terrible. Styrofoam cups were my real pet peeve. I couldn't stand them things. But she would save unsoiled aluminum foil, and she'd fold it up nice and neat. And she had a drawer with a stack of folded up aluminum foil in it. Why are you saving your tinfoil, for God's sakes? Well, it's not wore out. The rain dancer. What the heck? Time for bear spray. I'm trying to look back to see. Oh, had to walk to store, then attacked by a homeless lady. Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel bad it's gotten that way for you. I really do. Yeah, Nick, Samantha sent you a link. Yeah, it's hard to say how the convoy will affect us. I don't know, and we're not going to go on that topic. I'm sorry, Rain Dancer. The last time I got on this topic with Phil the other night, we had a good time, and we really talked all sides, left and right of the topic, the pros and cons, every which way but loose. But just because it was discussed, YouTube has demonetized that live stream. I challenged the decision, and they got back to me and told me what the reasoning for the demonetization was, that it's not ad friendly, is because of that topic. And so I'm just going to avoid that topic. There's places all over the world you can chat about that topic, and I don't want to beat up my channel with YouTube. And hey, check this out. There's Nick Jones. Now this guy, we don't want to talk about what's going on in Canada too much because they'll demonetize me. But this guy can get away with murder. How's it going, Nick?
I'm all right, Sty. How are you? Hello, Samantha.
Hey, that's exactly what I was thinking, Justin. Like Justin Anderson said it best in chat. Like that's exactly what was flashing through my brain. Censorship at its best. It's bull crap.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's why on Sty Times I did a topic called "You Can't Say That," and it's gone to the point where we used to say to people, "You can't say that," and it was always in a response of concern, like that just wasn't cool. You can't say that. Yeah. And now society has turned into, go ahead and say it, and we're going to punish you for it.
I'll say what I want.
And that's it, is more of us need to be able to say what we want. I mean, when I say
have free speech, I just think it's freaking crazy. It's a little hypocritical, if you ask me. It just really is.
It is. I mean, and it's like I told everybody in that show, they can pass all the laws they want, but how in the world can you control your right to speak? That is, especially in the United States under our Constitution, because our Constitution is designed to guarantee you things you were born with the ability to have on your own, that those belong to you, not to anybody else. Nobody else should have it.
Do with censorship.
There you go. I can beat that 2 times over, Nick. Check it out. But the thing is if they pass a law that says, Sty, you can't say this, I'll laugh at them because, no, wait a minute. I was born saying something. I was saying, what in the hell did you slap me in the ass for? Rah, rah, screaming. You damn right. I was born with vocal cords. I
Was
have
that
the
why you were
God,
born like that?
I have the God-given right to vocalize. Who the hell are they to tell me I'm not allowed to do something that God gave me? They didn't give me the ability to speak. It's not their right to tell me that they have no right telling me I can't do something I was born with the ability to do. So that's where, okay, now if I say something that you don't like, well, I'm sorry that you didn't like it, but all I have to really say to that is, poor you. Because you think I should really be concerned whether everyone in the whole frickin' world likes what I have to say? Well, then none of us should ever speak. Ever say a
Exactly.
thing. Because you can't please everybody. It's impossible. So they should quit trying and just shut the hell up, because if anybody needs to shut up, are the shut up sayers. They're the ones that are talking too much. Those of us that just say what we see, say what we think, verbalize what we feel, are just being real people. We're being true individuals. And wouldn't you rather have somebody come right out and say what they're thinking? Because then you know what they're about. You know what they think. You know who they are. They're a real person, and you really know what they're about because they verbalize it. But if you make everybody say everything a certain way, you don't know who does or doesn't think a certain way. You only know who does and doesn't follow the rules. I'd rather know how they feel and how they think. And stealing a person's ability to verbalize themselves, who they are as individuals, is so wrong. It's so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The and that's a thing, and that's something that's going in this new video I'm working on, is how we've allowed ourselves to become so distracted. We're not seeing the good things in life anymore. We don't allow ourselves. We don't allow ourselves the time to see the wonders and the love and the gratefulness of certain people just having you in their lives. We don't see it as well as we used to, because what do we have? We've got Afghanistan. We've got Russia and the Ukraine. We've got the convoy. We've got COVID. We've got inflation. We've got a half a dozen huge, big, worldwide issues that occupy our time all the time. What are we talking about? One of those big 6 issues. But nobody wants to take time and talk about, oh man, we had a poor kid out here riding his bike the other day, got hit by a car. And a bunch of the neighbors ran over there and they took care of him. They comforted him till the ambulance crew got here, and the ambulance crew was so good, and they saved that boy's life, and they got him to the hospital, and the kid's going to be okay. But you don't hear those stories. You don't talk about that. That's not a big deal, because we've got to worry about the Ukraine and Russia. We got to worry about COVID. Are you wearing your mask? You know what? I don't give a fuck about COVID. I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. Take care of yourself, sons of bitches. You better start fucking fighting back. And then if you need some help as far as equipment, let's send you a little bit. All right. I don't give a shit whether you like or dislike the convoy. I don't care. But I do care that the people in my community, the people in my town, some of them are really showing what it's like to be alive in your world. You think this whole planet is our world. I'm not taking ownership of this whole fucking world. I'm taking ownership of my world, the bubble, the world I live in. And I figure it's about 150 miles around. That's all I really give a shit about, other than my YouTube friends and their little worlds. I love knowing and being involved in their little worlds. But I'm not bringing the whole rest of the frickin' world into their little world and spoiling it for them. All of these key big issues. And everybody wants to personalize it. Oh boy, it's really affecting me. It's really hurting me. It's really... Okay. Even inflation, yeah, that hurts anybody. Prices went up on everybody. Guess what? We're all in the same boat. And we can scream and holler that the prices have gone up. The prices have gone up. How many times do we have to yell that out? How many times do we have to say it? Jesus, I know the prices went up. I don't need someone else telling me that, oh my God, the gas is $4 a gallon here. Yeah, well, it's $3.50 here. So I save 50 cents compared to you. I guess my life is good. But I'd still rather talk about, guess what? All the neighbors here got together, got the city to give us 1 acre, and we're going to put in a little city park, and all the kids can go to that city park. We'll be able to go over there and barbecue. That's pretty cool, man. It's going to bring the community together. That's awesome. That's awesome. All these big problems of the world. We can always go back and look at those when we want. I can get an update as to what's going on. I don't need to be involved in it from morning till night every day of the week. And I think that's a trap that we're all guilty of. I know I was. I mean, I'm watching the whole thing, the COVID, the Ukraine issue. I watched all the Afghan issue. I've been watching the aftermath of the Afghan issue. I was so trapped in it. I found every little spare slot of time that I didn't apply to my channel and daily absolute necessary tasks. All the rest of my time was all on those issues. Now, the last 2 weeks, guess what? I've been able to play some PlayStation. I've been able to watch a few movies I haven't watched in forever. I sat and was reading a book the other night. And I thought to myself, I haven't read a book since I was out at camp last year when I didn't have access to media. I miss those things. I miss life. I miss normal life. And see, Justin, I do too. I support the truckers 100%. I support them 100%. I do understand for every trucker out there that is stating his purpose, his cause, they can take it to a point where I will say, and it's not far from that, where I'll say, all right, drivers, that's enough. That's enough. Go back to work. Go back to work. Work when and while you can. You made the point. You're going to have to go back to work. This is not a free ride. They cannot take this on for months and months and months. And I've heard some drivers say, we're sticking this out until we get it our way. All right. So when your wife and kids say, hon, guess what's for supper? And you say, what's that? And they say, well, we're going to have rice for supper. Well, with what? What meat? Well, no, there was no meat at the grocery store. What do you mean there's no meat at the grocery store? Well, they said the truck didn't come in. And there's not going to be any meat delivered until the truckers are done with this. You think that trucker's going to keep his truck parked and not feed his family? They cannot take this to the point where it actually hurts them to the point where they can't feed their families. So am I 100% behind what their demands are? Yes. Am I 100% behind them taking food off of people's table and taking work away from, like the people at the Ford plant that shut down? All those people that got sent home because they can't get their parts. All right, it's time to make exceptions. You can put a pinch on things, but if you put a full blockade on things and you hurt innocent people, now your argument ends up being void. You end up being an asshole instead of a patriot. So there are limits to everything. Too much right throughout history is proven to be wrong because they took it too far. And I don't want to see that happen. But I do support their argument 100%. And I wish it wasn't just that industry. I wish it went across the board, all levels of blue-collar workers. If every blue-collar worker in Canada, the U.S., doesn't matter where, were to say, hey, we're just not going to work until this happens. We're just not going to work. Nobody will show up. Watch how fast something happens. Because all of a sudden, what if all of the farmers decided we're going to quit growing? All of those truckers are going to go, oh my God, that's going to kill our industry. We haul all of that food. We haul all that grain and all the food products and everything that those farmers provide. But we won't have anything to haul because they're not going to grow anymore. They said, we're done. We're not going to do it until we have our way. Well, now all of a sudden the truckers are hurting because even if they want to work, they can't because the farmers aren't going to grow none. Well, if you did that across every form of blue-collar industry, nobody is helping anybody. It all freezes up. You watch how fast things change. All of a sudden it's, whoa, okay, no mandates. We're going to do this. We're going to do that the way you want it. Please go back to work. Everybody then should go right back to work and say, yeah, it hurt for a couple of weeks, but by golly, things are back on track. Now, if I'm making too much sense that I come off as Sty is a moron, he's an asshole, he's an idiot. Good, fine, okay. At least you heard me. You know, that's why I hope they don't demonetize this stream like they did at my last one, because I got on that issue. But we need, you know, if a bunch of drivers are doing this, who the hell are we to sit back and say, go drivers, go, go drivers, go, and you're chanting that on your way to work? Why the hell aren't you doing it? Why are you just cheering them on? Why are you the cheering section? Why aren't you part of the choir? That really irritates this old man. That we have so many fans and supporters, but in all truth, we got a very small group of patriots standing up. But we're all behind them. We're behind you while I'm off to work. I'm going to go make those parts that they need to go build this thing for people so they can buy it in the store. I'm going to keep the system going. Well, you prove my point. What? No, that's why I say every blue-collar worker out there, I would love to see everybody do the same thing they're doing. You do it for a week, and I guarantee you, governments would say, wow, we're going to have to do what the people say, because even they're going to go hungry. They're going to watch their stocks go right through the floor. They're going to just like, holy bejesus. We can't have the whole nation quit cheering it on and start supporting it, that'll hurt us elites also. Yeah. So I know Sty's dreaming. It's kind of a utopian approach, that things would be so much better, but but I do believe it. I don't believe it'd be utopia, but I do believe we could make an effect and be better. If every one of us took that hit, now what would have happened? Here's an example. Think about this. Right? The last relief checks they got here in America, the $1,400, right? Everybody got their $1,400 COVID relief money. What if everybody took that $1,400 and sent it right the hell back and said, reduce our deficit with it? What if every single one of those checks got turned right back to the Treasury and said, kiss my hiney, reduce our deficit? Or better yet, earmark every penny of that to fixing the supply line and fixing our economy. We're not going to spend it out here the way you want us to fix the economy, because all the profits off of that money you gave us are going to the elite that caused this problem in the first place. Instead, we're going to send that money to you, and you're going to make sure our supply line stabilizes and we can continue at the prices we were used to. What would they have done? What would they have done with those billions and billions of dollars they put out as a stimulus payment if it all came right back to Treasury earmarked to solve the supply line issue and improve our deficit and our economy and wipe out the inflation? What would they have done? It would have really bent a lot of elites out of place, because that hits them in the pocketbook. Nobody's winning in this whole situation of the world right now except the elites. They're not hurt. They're not getting hurt by this. They're actually making huge gains. Inflation is terrible on the working populace. It's wonderful. It's a cash cow for the elites. You look at things that have risen, gasoline, risen by 42%. Okay? Now, is that due to the cost per barrel? No, they've already shown that it hasn't, because the cost per barrel was over $105 per barrel years back, but the price of gasoline was $1.64. Right now, the cost per barrel, $94, but the cost of gas is $3.50, double. Wait a minute. So if the cost of oil is less than it used to be, it was higher back then, but the price was half of what we pay today. That means there's double the profits. And they say, but the refining costs, did you know how they refine that fuel? By using that fuel. They use fuel to refine fuel, by the way. That's how it's refined. They're using the source to refine the product to come up with the end product. It's all profit. The oil industry is going back. Yes, ching, 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 ching. They're making big money off of inflation. Same goes for all the other elites. Same in the food market. All of those areas that we're seeing the huge inflationary costs. It's the top end, the elites. They're raking in additional profits. I did a little bit of background research on Dollar Tree. Now they're the $1.25 tree, of course. You go into a Dollar Tree, everything's $1.25, right? Well, that means they increased everything 25% 25 cents, which is 25% increase. Where's that? Well, why? Justify it. Dollar Tree cannot justify it. They have, in some cases, up to 15-year contracts for products that are based at a 60% profit margin. And they've got a 15-year contract locking in that price. They've got some things that are contracted out, locked in for a year, some for 2, some for 5. But they've got that all locked in. So they're going to make between 25 and 60% profit on everything they sell off of their shelves. Plus an additional 25% they're going to earn now that they raise their prices to $1.25. Who's winning on that? The elites are winning on that, not the working class. People say, well, the wages went up. Now they're averaging $15 an hour a month. That doesn't make up even a drop out of the bucket of the inflationary effect that we have to carry. The elites, however, they're seeing millions upon millions increase in profit margin. I don't know. The farmers got shortchanged. Yeah.
Hey, Sty.
Yes, sir.
How do you get a dishwasher to plow the snow?
A dishwasher to plow the snow?
Yeah, you give her a shovel.
You give her the shovel.
That's a bit shit, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Old Man River, you're talking about the taxes on military retirement and the 20%, 25% deduct on the VA disability. There's always somebody in there with a so-called better idea, and then they'll get somebody smart enough that'll open their eyes to what the hell they'd be causing. That would set the VA back on its heels to do that. Just all the peripheral damage it would create by reducing the disability pay on our veterans. That would just not. It just wouldn't fly. It just. I've seen, I've seen the effects of the VA on its worst days, and to see some of the improvements that have been made, anything that would set it back at all would be terrible. The taxes on military retirement pay, tripling the taxes on the military pay, I don't understand that. I don't understand that on retirement. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of service people, a lot of military out there that wouldn't agree with me, but I'm a person where I believe in true justification, and I don't believe that military vets should have a different set of tax rules than anybody else. I'm sorry. If you're a citizen of this country, every single one of us should have the exact same tax rules. No ifs, ands, or buts. What I don't like are how they have convoluted our tax structure to the point where so many people can cheat and never pay a thing. And so many others are stuck and they got to pay. There's
Hey,
nothing
Phil.
Hey, Phil, what are you doing out there?
So it sounds like he actually watched the game this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he's kidding.
Maybe he's kidding. That's right.
Hopefully. Hopefully he's joking.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin, just real quick, and I'm going to end that topic with that is my favorite side is my M&P Shield. I like both 9 and 10. I like both the 9 mil and the 10. But that's my favorite. I used to always carry a 45 ACP, but that heavy beast I don't want to carry anymore. Yeah. And it's not as easily concealed. Speak of which, because I moved, I had to get my conceal and carry permit renewed. You got 30 days after you move. I find out when I go to renew it, if you already actually physically moved to your new address, I have to do it in person. Otherwise, if I would have done it literally the day before I moved into this house, I could have done it online. Now I have to I got to drive all the way up to Superior, Wisconsin, 60 miles from here, walk in the door and do what I could do online, except that I have to show up in person because I already moved into the house. But it pissed me off. My driver's license, everything else, mail it to me, no problem. Hey, here we go. Now things can get interesting. Now, he's not dragging me down these subjects. We beat these up already tonight. We're going to just have fun and chat. Here, Nick, look out.
Hey, Phil. There you are.
Yeah, Chunky.
Chunky.
Chunky, fat fucker.
Don't talk to me like that, Nick. I had to come over there to the UK and whoop your fat ass.
Yeah, bring it on, Navy boy.
Mm-hmm, Navy boy.
Bring it on, Navy boy. God. Hey, I already said we're off that topic.
Yeah, so Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams are Super Bowl champions. It was a close game. The Rams scored the final touchdown with 1:35 left, and Cincinnati just they couldn't put together a 1:35 drive to at least even tie the game because they had an opportunity to tie the game. They couldn't get close enough for a field goal. So,
tell me, why is it that all you hear is Cincinnati? Cincinnati that, Cincinnati this. You never hear Ohio, do you?
oh,
I told Samantha the reason I didn't watch Super Bowl at all tonight, but is because I only have one tiny little interest in it, and I was a fan for Cincinnati. I'm still looking for some reason to like Ohio. So I thought if they could just win, I could say, well, there's one good thing about Ohio.
they've always been a great college football team.
It's that. No, it's college isn't big enough for me to give them that. They're not going to save Ohio's reputation for me.
Well, college is all the Buckeye fans can cling on to. Because between Cleveland and Cincinnati, they haven't had a good team in decades. So,
Right. But that's all they can hold on to.
Right.
It's not something an outsider can give them kudos for, as far as I'm concerned. It's college. It's college level. Now, on the national league level, come on, give me something so I can say there's one good thing about Ohio.
They actually looked good. Cincinnati led the game at a time. They were behind it one time, and they led. And the Rams defense, man, they just killed them at the end.
So it was really the defense is what turned it.
It was a back and forth game. I think the final score was 23-20. It was a back and forth game all night long.
Well, see, and that does make for a good Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And with
controversial plays, though, but
well,
always is.
And controversial plays and calls, that adds to the whole. That's where you got a crowd in your house watching the Super Bowl. Sam and I were talking about it earlier. That's when the two uncles, everybody go like, "Oh, here we go. You heard that call. Here we go. Those two are going to go at it." And so actually it sounds like for those fans and the Super Bowl in general fans, it was a good game. A good game.
Yeah, there was a Cincinnati touchdown that shouldn't have been, because the wide receiver, as he was going for the ball, he kind of ranked ahead of the guy that was defending him by the face mask, and they didn't call it. You'll see. If you look into it tomorrow, you'll actually see it, and they should have called it. It reminds me of the New Orleans Saints play, where that was a controversial play at the very end of the game, and they were going to put these rules in that was going to make sure that nothing like that caused that big a problem or there was that big a deal in a football game ever again. And yet, everybody that saw the replay saw this guy basically a face mask turn his head, and then that made the defender fall down and the receiver catch the ball and run it into the end zone. So,
yeah, and that's been for quite a long time now. It's just kind of rule of thumb. Is you're not watching that hand. All you need to do is see that proximity of the hand and the face mask. Yeah. And what truly makes the decision is head movement. At the minute you see any rotation in that head, boom, that's a mask call right there. Boom. And for something like that to slip, it's like, was everybody looking the other way? And we've got replay, so come on, Well,
it's something we won't be talking about tomorrow because the team that it was perpetrated against won. So
right.
Had Cincinnati won, that would have been all
hot. It would have been a hot
talk about until next season. So
that's right. Yeah, it would have been a hot topic right on the top of the list. So was that your highlight for today? Was getting to watch that game? Was that your highlight?
That was
cool. You know what my highlight for the day was, folks? I watched Grilling and Chilling with Mojo this morning. That some bitch made one hell of a breakfast sandwich. It was freaking killing me. Oh my God. And he's chowing that sucker down. I'm just like, oh God, I would have killed to have that sandwich. That guy's killing me, man. And hey, oh, love her. She is so awesome.
Big old poof ball.
Yeah. I had a fuzzy like her. We call them fuzzies when I had sled dogs for a while, and I had a fuzzy that looked a lot like her, white markings like that, some cream in her, but she was just a fuzzy, and she was one of the few that I'd bring her in the house, and within 15 minutes, she's sitting at the door whining and looking at me like, please put me back to my barrel, because all my dogs had 55-gallon drums buried at about a 40-degree angle in the ground with straw in them, and that was where they stayed all year. she'd rather be out there in 20 below weather out in her barrel than sitting in that hot house. And I'd sit there and I go, you go ahead and whine, Fuzzy, just whine, because the kids loved her. She was so soft.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for her because she didn't realize she's just a stuffed animal for the kids,
Yeah. You got to give them their outside time, though. When she starts to cry, I bring her in. But they do get hot.
They do. Yeah. Yeah, they're designed for it, and there's something in their instincts. They want to be out. They want to breathe that cold, fresh air.
She loves the snow. She loves the cold. Oh, God. It's her wonderland.
Well, to me, any dog should want to be an outdoor dog, right? I mean, cats are more of an inside animal. They've been domesticated that way.
Oh.
Chase is a pussy, though. It was ridiculous. The first time this dog set paw on frickin' snow, you'd think somebody was beating him half to death. He was like, I was like, no, dude. You live in Alaska. You're going to have to freaking endure it, bro. Because I'm not having a dog that pisses and shits in my house.
No, hell no.
So guess what?
That's
I bought
one
him
thing.
booties even to try and accommodate him, and he was still like,
oh, that's running water. He buys these cute little booties for Bean, and he puts a pair on him here in the house. I'm sitting in the living room, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm dressing Bean up, and he puts his coat on him, and he's putting these booties on. I'd never seen such a small dog get his feet so high off the floor, man. Bean's walking around it, and I'm yelling at Bean. I'm going, Bean, you're a dog. You got to have at least 3 feet on the ground at a time, man. You can't go one-footed. I mean, there are times where he's standing on 1 foot and he's got 3 going, and I thought, you're torturing the shit out of that dog. And he goes, yeah, but if I take him outside without the booties on, he starts crying about it.
Give it to me.
And I said, so you torture him in here for 5 minutes and then take him out there, and he spends half a minute taking a piss, and he's right back in the house and wants them damn booties off. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. My sled dogs, I only had one, and she was notorious for reaching down and she'd chew her booties off. But the other ones, boy, they loved it when I threw booties on them. They never did the hopping thing for some reason. The sled dogs, once you put booties on them, is just like, oh my God, I got a brand new pair of Nikes, man. They loved them. And they didn't like it if one would get loose. I had one, he was a wheel dog, first dog in front of the sled. I usually put a pair of wheel dogs at the front of the sled. They're the power dogs, the ones with all the beef to them. Usually your lead dog is just a prominent alpha dog, but the 2 at the back are all your power. It's like having posi traction. Well, I had one that if one of his booties was coming a little bit loose, that some bitch would stop. He'd screw the whole team up, and he'd sit down and he'd lift that leg up, front or back. He'd lift it up and just hold it there. And I could yell at him all day, and he ain't moving. No, you're going to come and retie my booty. And I'd yell at him, you big ass baby, and have to go retie his booty. Yeah. It's funny what we'll do for dogs, and cats, I was real tempted for the first time in ages to actually get a cat. I caught the biggest damn mouse. I tell you, I think they're half-breeds between mice and rats. That son of a bitch was so big. Regular mouse trap, and he was as big as the whole trap. When it snapped on him, it snapped over his whole body, and his shoulders were outside of the snap bar. That's how big and fat he was. And here I'm thinking we got a house full of mice. So I go out, I set 8 regular mouse traps, snappers. I sent 4 one big live one that'll catch up to a dozen in it, and 2 other live ones. Okay. And then I put a poison center down, with the cubes. No sign of any mice except that one big fat bastard I caught. And I told Running Water, looking at the size of him, I think we only had 1 mouse. I think all the mouse shit and things that it got into, the mess, I think it was just him, that big fat bastard mouse. Because the traps are still set all over the place. No sign of mice at all for days. Just the big fat bastard got him, and it came to an end. I think I had 1 very, very well-fed mouse. And the only reason I went apeshit crazy with the mouse traps was son of a bitch got into my candy and stole 5 of my Reese's peanut butter cups. Took 5 of them out, and I found 3 totally empty wrappers. The tin foil and the paper wrapper laying there, cup gone. 3 of those completely gone. The other 2 half eaten. And the paper's not chewed up. He's being real delicate, careful, opening up his peanut butter cup because the paper's not chewed on at all. It looks like a person opened them and ate them. And yeah,
Chase, stop it.
Yeah, damn mouse.
Never seen that talented a mouse, but hey.
Yeah, no, he ain't talented anymore. Thank God. Yeah, he was paying attention in school except the trap day. He wasn't paying attention to that. I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
We had a little episode today. I went up to get a haircut and get a couple other things done today, and I'm on my way back home. And of course, my truck, it's got 374,000 miles.
Yeah.
And I come to the last 4-way stop that's by my house, about a little more than a mile away. Make a left-hand turn onto Hadley Road, and my truck starts. And then the steering goes, and I'm like, either my engine just went, or I just ran out of gas. So I coast into the Elba Township Fire Hall, and there's all these fire guys in there. They're all in a meeting and whatnot. And I call up my wife, says, all right, bring one of the gas cans. So she brings one of the gas cans. There ain't piss in it. So we wind up having to go all the way up to the gas station in her truck, bring it back, put gas in it. Sure enough, dumbass had run out of gas. I don't think I've ever run out of gas. Ever.
You ran her out of gas.
I didn't. You know what? I was telling my wife, I says, you know what? When I put her in, when I came home last night, I had under a quarter of a tank. And I said, you know what? First thing I need to do is fill that truck up before I do anything else. And sure enough, I went up and ran around, went up to Meyer, went up to get a haircut and everything else, and just forgot. Now I know how big the gas tank is.
Yeah, exactly. When it's going to run dry. Now, I was going to say, your gas gauge works.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the light was on too.
And the light was probably saying that you need fuel. Yeah.
Yep.
Buddy, that's not good for the fuel filters and or the injectors to run them dry. It's not good.
Especially after 370.
Yeah, you don't want anything.
And whatever could be at the very bottom of that tank,
Right. Yeah, 350,000 miles worth of grudge and shit, and yeah.
But when I put those 5 gallons in,
fired right up
there and filled it up. Yeah, it's just fine. So we'll see how she runs over the next few days.
Yeah, you may be just fine, but there is that possibility
Well, the
that
fuel
it could have
filter-
gotten some sludge up
Yeah,
there.
the fuel filter part is what I thought of first thing. If it doesn't start up because it might be a clogged fuel filter,
Yeah. Well, at least what running out of fuel, what it can cause, it doesn't put you out much to fix that problem,
Yeah.
Fuel filters sometimes can be a bitch because the fuel lines can be rotten right near the fuel filter, and then all of a sudden you're going, oh shit, now I gotta replace some fuel line.
Nothing's ever easy when you got that one. Oh, I can just replace this. I got to do is undo this and undo this, or replace this part. Oh, that'll be easy. And then you go to undo something, and something else comes apart, and this and that, and then,
yeah, just like me with the starter in my truck.
Right.
And I spent 5 hours dicking around, swapping this, swapping that, replacing all of the modules, the fuses, everything, and it's definitely the starter, dicking around down there trying to get that starter out of the truck. And I said, oh, Jesus, I can't believe it. 5 hours I put into this damn thing. And I had spent 40-some bucks on all the fuses and shit. And then I finally said, it's winter. I'm done with this shit. I'm an old man. I don't have to do this shit. So I called a local garage and said, come and tow that son of a bitch in and fix it. I don't give a shit what it costs. Just do it. They come with a big, beautiful flatbed, and they run my truck up on it, and off they go. And I'm talking to the local guys around here, and they saying, hey, he's only pulling it about a mile from you. But guess what? Their minimum fee is $150. Put that truck on a flatbed.
Damn.
That's what everybody in town here is charging, $150. And usually they've got a 5-mile limit on that. After 5 miles, then they're going to charge you a mile per mile fee on top of it. And I'm going, well, there's $150. And to put the starter in, I had already bought the starter. But to put it in, they're going to charge me a minimum of another hour. And they're going to charge me close to $100 for an hour's labor. At least, $250, $300, I figured. They only had the truck for about an hour and 45 minutes. They give me a call and said, hey, your truck's done. I go, already? They said, yeah, it's done. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, because I was being lazy and didn't want to do all the work and running into all these other issues. It's going to cost me. And I said, what's the damages? $160. Oh, I was so pissed at myself. I was just like, all that misery, 5 hours of freaking misery, and all kinds of shit I bought and replaced that didn't need to be bought and replaced. And for $160, I could have just taken 2 hours out of my day and had my truck right back to operating like $1 million. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I tell people when they say, oh, well, you can fix that yourself. If you like to wrench, if you don't like wrenching, don't do it. Don't do it. Just let somebody else do it. Shop around, find a reliable person at a good price, but don't do it. If you don't like pushing a wrench and you don't get enjoyment out of doing the repair yourself, don't put yourself through that misery. Like brakes on my truck, I got to do brakes this spring all around and people say, well, why would you do the rear brakes? Because I did those last spring. Well, no, this spring, I should have done the fronts last spring too, but they got through the season. They got through the year. When I do them this spring, I'm doing all 4 sets. And it's because I don't mind doing brakes. They're not that difficult. There's little time consuming about, counting, removing the wheel and remounting, jacking and all that stuff, probably about 40 minutes a wheel, in the worst case. So I got an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And so I'll do all 4 brakes myself this spring. But man, if starter ever goes out in that truck again, guess what? Ringy, ringy. Hello, you want to come get my truck? Put a starter in it, please. Because I ain't touching it. I'm not going through that misery.
Well, that's me with even my kids. You know, I got kids with older cars. You know, if they ain't got the money, I would rather them take it to the garage and have the garage do it than to spend half of my day off underneath there busting my knuckles trying to fix something that I probably shouldn't be messing with anyways. So
Yeah.
I'll do brake pads.
Yeah, I know you do. You do, yeah.
I've replaced calipers on the
Yeah.
rotors, that kind of stuff. I can do that shit. That's not a problem. You know, I don't mess with drum brakes, but disc brakes, yeah, not a problem. So
I don't mind drums. I
can do
Well,
an oil change. It's just it's so much, you know, for a little bit of extra money you spend to let the dealership do it. I just let the dealership do it.
Well, and that's one thing I did notice is that the dealerships, it's like they let their profit margin take the hit, the increased cost on the oil, the actual
Right.
the filter and the oil, they absorb that in their profit margin instead of jacking the oil change prices up so high. And really, for what they're getting paid to do the oil change for you, hell, I'd pay someone to do that to mow my lawn.
Right.
You know, so I'm not going to whine about having someone else mow my lawn and pay them $40, but you know, plus the gas, plus provide the mower and everything, but yet I'm going to whine going to the dealer and paying them $125, $150 to totally lube up and oil change my vehicle. What the hell am I whining about?
It ain't that much, but I mean, I tell you, you know, you, as a dealership or as a company, you need to make sure, you know, we lose money on oil changes. But you know what? When you do an oil change, you should be doing a tire rotation. Well, you know what? You can pick up $10 or $15 right there, and it's all profit because you're already paying those guys an hourly wage. These guys are getting paid by the job. They're getting paid to be at the dealership.
That's it.
And so that's pure profit for the dealership. If you can get them to do a tire rotation, you should.
I've had so many employees get in that discussion with me about, well, why do you have me doing so many different jobs throughout a day? You know, maybe if I only did 2 or 3, and I'd say, no. I pay you to be here from 8 till 4:30 every day, right? And they say, well, yeah. And I say, that's one reason I pay you that. I pay you to be here. The other reason I pay you to be here is to do what the hell I want you to do from 8 to 4:30. And if I can squeeze 5 jobs out of you, that's what I want to do. But why do you have to do that? Because the first 2 jobs paid my wages, your overhead, and gave you a profit. It's because job number 3, 4, and 5 are all profit to me, 100%. That's why I want as many jobs out of you in a day that I can get. And then when they realize that, I tell them, and that's why I can pay you the wage I pay you, is because of those extra jobs that I can get out of you. If I can't get those extra jobs out of you, I'm going to have to reduce your damn pay, you know, because I've gotten used to my standard of living, you know. What the heck was it?
Are you rocking the baby, Sam?
Rocking the baby.
What?
I said, are you rocking a baby?
No.
You rocking back and forth like you got.
She's got her uke. She's got her uke in her lap.
I couldn't see it.
I'm jamming out.
I'll be right back.
Girl, I just had a conversation on Friday. I just had a conversation on Friday with Cedar Creek. You're still getting a drumstick, girl. That's still coming your way. The day's coming.
God about whoa.
No, you're still getting one. You're still getting one, girl. So just
I completely forgot. Like
there's something else that you'll be getting, but I think that'll be later this summer. Running Water has everything. I just actually saw it all. But we got to get the shop back in order so that he can get out there and actually work. but he's building you. He's building you a cigar box uke. So he's building you a custom made uke, and it's going to be very. I don't want it to be a spoiler, but when you get it, you're gonna love what's going on the face of it. What's being put on the face of it. You're gonna love it, and it's one of those where you can grab that and take it to a jam and just sit and beat on that all day. You're not gonna get orchestra grade out of it. It's going to be more of a jamming instrument for you. Yeah. Running Water is just so disappointed he doesn't have more time to be able to get it finished. And he told me, he says, "Did you see this, and this?" And I go, "Yeah, I saw those. What the hell?" And he goes, "Well, that's Sam's uke." I said, "Oh shit, okay." And I came across it because I saw the neck. I go, "What in the hell is that?" I go, "What's he building here?" Yeah.
He might get upset with you for telling me.
I don't care if he's upset or not. I got to piss him off at once in a while. I have to say, Running Water adores you.
I love him. He's amazing.
He is just so happy with you that you made his papa proud with my theme song, and he said that he just loves the fact that somebody would do that for me. And I told him, I said, it takes a special person.
Every time I see him and Bean, it just makes my day. Those two are just, it's just good energy, and yeah, he's a nice, fun. Well, he's a product of you, of course. He's your son. But, he's a good.
It's odd with him because, and I've told him, I said that it's odd because I see so much of him in him, and I see so much of me in him, and that makes me feel good because it's a nice blend, And it reminds me what every parent. Here's Sty's inspirational statement for the day. Every parent out there, keep this in mind. You want your children, no matter what they turn out to be, you want them to be the best of you. You don't want them to pick up the worst of you. You want them to pick up and live the best of you and add their own to it and make it even better yet. But what do I want my kids to reflect? I want them to reflect the best of me, not the worst of me, not the times I was fixing all the little kids' breakfast and I burnt myself and said, "Oh, motherfuck, son of a cocksucker bitch, son." And then I look at all these kids that are between the ages of 7 and 3, and I'm going, I hope you didn't hear your dad. My kids don't do that. So they said, after the fact, they're going, "Oh, geez, he burnt himself, but boy, was that a good breakfast." And they go, "Man, Dad makes good breakfast." And what do they do for their children? They make good breakfast, and they don't say what Dad said. So look forward to that. Look for the best of you in your children. Don't look for things that you did that you probably shouldn't have that reflect in your children. Look for the best of you in your children. Because I guarantee you, the best of you rubs off on them better than the worst. That they love you. And when you do that, you just go that extra inch. They remember it, and it ends up being part of their life.
It might take a little till later on in life, but
yeah. Oh, with some of my children, I hear stuff now coming from them. I go, "Oh boy, deja vu. I remember when I used to say the same things." but I haven't heard that from them ever since then. They've never said it before. They, in fact, did just the opposite. But now I'm seeing them that many of us don't mature until we're 40 or 50, 60, 65, well, 64 in 2 days. That's right, 64 in 2 days. I can't believe it. I'm 65. Oh, guess what I got?
I don't know when I'm going to mature, but go ahead.
Guess what I got in the mail yesterday? Real quick.
Oh, that was an AARP card.
It's kind of like an AARP
Cigna.
card. Cigna. I'm insured, man, for my meds.
Are you?
Yes. My
awesome.
co
Now that you don't need them.
Now that I'm coming off of most of them. But the nice thing about that is because I just squeezed it, barely squeezed in the window. I have 0 monthly copay on that, or premium. I don't have to pay a premium. It's part of my retirement. I have 0 annual deductions. It's a 0 deduction policy. And I only pay $9.98 per name brand prescription. All generic prescriptions are $3.98. It doesn't save me a ton of money because I manage I get the best deal I can on my meds. So I only pay $55 a month for meds. But this new pharmacy or pharmaceutical coverage, medication coverage, actually is going to save me about $16 a month. Well, $16 is $16.
Yeah, right.
Right. I didn't think there was any way I was going to qualify for that. I said, no, I'll skip the drug coverage in my retirement. I'll just pay out of pocket. Now I'm glad I filled out this 1-page form and submitted it with my retirement. Here they kick it out. It comes in the mail. And it was weird because you open it up and it says, congratulations, you are going to be covered by blah, 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 blah. And attached to it is the card. So I'm going to be covered. And here's the card.
There you go.
And then it says the card, I can go back all the way to April or to January 1st. They're allowing me. So not that I'm going to cash in on last month's $16. I could care less. But
I'm not getting political or anything, but I saw a kid today with our current president, and they brought him up on stage to thank the president for the fact that the cost of his insulin is down now, and it's affordable for his family, and he doesn't have to worry about dying because his family can afford his insulin. And I was thinking to myself, wasn't the previous guy trying to make it free for everyone that is insulin dependent? I mean, if you're insulin dependent and it's like
it was good. It was going to be free and or all brought into generic status, which would have made it like $25, where right now, if I went back on insulin where I was at, and that was low, if I went back to when I was double what I was at last, but what I was at last, $685 a month.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. You know what's that? I thought
he hasn't done nothing.
That depends. Without it, you die. So how is it that they can deprive you of insulin or make you? I can see if you're a multimillionaire charging you $680 a month for insulin. Yeah. But when you're a normal Joe, or a retired gentleman or close to retirement, $680 is a lot of money for insulin. So you know what? They ought to, and they can make this stuff by the truckloads. So
and they do.
And
they do because the demand is there, and a huge portion of the populace is buying it at that huge rate. because they'd have no, like you said, it's a life or death med. And see, Justin doesn't have health insurance, can't afford that shit. Yeah.
But if you needed insulin,
yeah, if you needed insulin, and for me it was a no-brainer. There's no way I could pay $685. I'd be wiping out nearly half of my retirement. But wait a minute, you start adding rent in on that and other overhead. All of a sudden there isn't enough, and you realize you haven't even figured out how the fuck you're going to eat yet.
Right.
And guess what? You can have all those costs, all those overhead costs, and there ain't a government program out there going to help your ass. They're going to say, oh, well, you can't get food share. You can't get some way to eat from us because you make X amount. And you go, yeah, but they're taking all of this medical out of it and this and that and this and that. Sam had to jump down. She can pop back up anytime she wants. She knows it.
Well, I got to get to bed here in a couple minutes. So
yeah, I'm going to have to be wrapping it up here in a couple of minutes. But the thing is I'm fortunate in our community, and I wish every community did the same thing. We have this organization called North Lakes Community Clinic, right? Well, if you ever worked in the insurance industry, health insurance side of things, you understand how much money they're making off of people.
Oh, yeah.
This clinic, the group of people that created this community clinic, looked at how much they can recoup through charging insurance. And what do they need to make for profits? Well, all they needed for profits was what they called replenishment funds, and that's to maintain the system, the clinic system, upgrading or repairing equipment, the building maintenance, things like that. What is their budget? What do they really need to make? They figured that out. Then they looked at their client base and said, okay, we got almost 90% of our clients are all insured, and we're getting this much money in, and it far exceeds what we actually need to operate. So we're putting that money into this reserve fund. We got this big reserve fund sitting here, and we're always scratching our heads and scratching our ass trying to figure out what to do with this money. Why don't we go with a sliding scale system and base your costs at our clinic on your income? Well, now it's pretty damn sweet when, if you're single, you can make $32,000 a year and you're only going to pay half of what the insurance company would get paid. But you're single and you're making 32 grand a year and you're only going to pay half the cost. You can go see the doctor for $25 a visit. They've been operating now for, what's it been, 15 years? They expanded. They've got 4 clinics now. They've got every medical service you can expect at any major clinic, all provided. They got optical. They got the regular health doctors. They've even got their mental health unit. They've got drug rehab. They've got physical therapy. They've got everything there on a sliding scale. Now, I'm not going to tell you my income, but I would have never dreamt it. I put in for their sliding scale, being I got to pay out of pocket, right? I put in for their sliding scale, see if there's anything they can do to help me by reducing my out-of-pocket costs. They approved me. They said, yeah, you easily qualify for our sliding scale. It cost me $10. $10 to see the doctor, $10 for my labs, $10 to see the eye doctor. If I buy glasses from their optical store, 50%, whatever their fee is, their regular costs for glasses, 50%. Everything's $10. X-rays, $10. I never have a bill for seeing the doctor with all the lab work, X-rays, everything over $30. Never have a bill over $30. And I only see the doctor once every 3 to 6 months. Well, I can afford that shit.
Right.
And that's when I asked my doctor about it. And she said, but we're providing that to hundreds of people in the community. Anybody that wants to come to our clinic can come in. They can come and they can pay out of pocket. Out of pocket pays 60%. They pay what Medicare will pay, which is 60% of the insurance market rate. So that's what you pay if you're self-pay, no sliding scale. And she says, but we try to get everybody to put in for the sliding scale because we can probably get it for less. And she said that currently they figured it out, that even with the sliding scale, that now only 40% of their clientele are actual insurance billings. The other 60% are either Medicare or sliding scale patients. And they're a 5-star freaking clinic. Everything there, beautiful facilities, everything good. And we can all afford it. And they've proven it works because they've been here for 15 years. And why aren't other communities doing that? Why are they not doing that? And I think it has to do with the big medical market, which includes pharmaceuticals, but it also includes healthcare in general. That they want the big bucks. They want all the insured people. They don't want to just provide the service. Where I have to say this organization proved that, yeah, the hometown doctor type approach can come back where you can afford the doctor, where you can go see the doctor and actually write a check and you're done when you leave. I can afford to write you that check and pay. I never owe you nothing. Love it. Love it. Hey, thanks, Bud, for finding time to swing up here after the game and giving us the update. And I want to thank everybody out there in the chat for hanging around tonight. It's been a great night. I didn't get to during the stream, so I'm going to play my members list on the way out. Let you all see the great members that support this show and this channel. And hey, it's Sunday night, so tomorrow night I got Sty Times, 1-hour show, 5 p.m. Central Time. Come and hang out or listen to us on the way home from work. You know,
there you go.
Don't watch, listen.
Oh, just listen.
You promised, right? You're full of shit. But and then Sty's got a day off. I'm really gonna just sit around, thumb up my butt on Tuesday. I'm taking a break from everything. I worked extra hard yesterday and today, so I'm taking Tuesday literally off, and I'll be back though on Wednesday with another Sty Times. So hey guys, love y'all. You're all great. You all have a very, very good start of your week tomorrow. We'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Bye bye. Keep it spicy.
Spicy.